Hi there, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Disney process video. This is a collaboration with my very good friend Janice, and in today's video we're going to go over a few things like how to work with a very busy print and how to crop your photos properly, and I'll get to that in a moment. For my layout today, I have not one, but two hero photos, and I just couldn't decide, so I thought, you know what, we're going to add two. Now, if you've been following along our Disney collaboration, you know that this was my first time at Disneyland, and I felt that the castle was a little small, but you know what? The castle totally won my heart, and I wanted to document it on my page today. So I wanted this to be my featured photo, but I also wanted another photo of me and Janice to be a featured photo. So what do you do when you have two? Well, we're going to create a little bit of a grid and we're going to fit them both on our layout today. So we're going to start with one of our hero photos. We're going to start with the castle right up here. And then I'm going to come across on this side, and this one here, I mentioned that the importance of cropping a photo properly. Originally, this photo was going to be a 5x7, and when I did that, I was actually cropping off way too much. I was losing the beautiful pink trees and the magical feeling of this photo. So I decided to make it a nice big square, and this is a 6x6. And then we're going to add our supporting photos. Now for my supporting photos, I'm going to draw your attention to, I have two here. I'm going to draw your attention to these two photos that have been cropped intentionally. Take a look at what they looked like before. And when Janice sent me her photo selection, I thought, I don't have these photos. Where did you get them from? And she said, no, they're in our shared drive. I just cropped them in. And by removing all of the people, so let's take a look at those photos in their original form. This guy here with the Yoda ears totally threw me off. But when Janice showed me how well she cropped these two photos, I thought, well, that really represents the castle, and I need to print these photos. So don't forget the importance of cropping with intention. That way you can tell your own story. So I'm going to add a little row of photos at the bottom. So these are my supporting photos highlighting the castle. And here on this side, I have Walt that's going to make an appearance nice and tight, a nice cropped photo, the train ride that we did, and this is a photo of the gorgeous fountain. I'm going to bring in a couple more photos, and I'm sure Janice is rolling her eyes with this one here. They're already in flip-flaps, and I'm going to add them right here. So this is where I'm concentrating on the people pictures, if you want, and then this is the castle and the grounds. It took me a while to get to this selection. These photos really capture the moment for me. I have a gorgeous photo of me and Janice, and then I can showcase the castle for what it is. It is gorgeous, it is bright, and it is very pink and purple. So when I was going through my paper selection, and because I'm doing a Disney layout, I always tend to go to red because I have red in my photos here, red, black, yellow. These photos here are definitely more on the pink, purple tones, and they are at night. So again, that's why I have a nice big border. Let me bring in my paper selection, and I'm going to talk you through how to use a really busy print and make it work with your layout. I did a little stash diving for this layout, and this is an old collection from close to my heart. It was called You Are Enough, and this was a specialty paper. And what drew me to this paper was this sheet here. But look how busy that is. The other thing that drew me to this paper was this metallic, and it had a lot of really nice pinks and purples. Now I did audition a whole bunch. I thought maybe this one would do, but in the end I decided that I wanted to keep the background neutral with the right color palette. And I'm going to make this really busy print work for this layout. I went through my collection of cardstock and I thought I was going to use Secret Sea because I really like that color. But I feel that these photos and this paper needs something a little bit brighter. So I'm going to go with Night of Navy. I'm going to pull that. I'm not going to use a whole bunch of it, but I am going to pull the Night of Navy. Let me just show you what Secret Sea would look like and to see how that's a little bit too dark. Because my photos are dark, I want to brighten it up a tiny little bit, but I also want to stay true to this paper collection. And you can see that some of the older collections pair very, very well with the Stampin' Up! Colors. So I'm going to go with Night of Navy. And then because of this metallic in here, so this is rose gold, but if you got this collection last year, this was, I think it was called bronze. So this is a bronze paper and it's pretty darn close. So I want to bring in some of this shimmer and shine so that we can further celebrate our first day at Disneyland. So if you're anything like me, when you see a sheet like this, like you could just put a photo right in the middle, add another border, a couple of embellishment, and this would make a really nice single page layout. But I want to spread this across both of them. So I'm going to start with it here. So I'm going to move these out of the way. I'm going to slide these up. And I'm going to use this as my base page. Now I am definitely going to cut this and bring this other half just to show you how the creative process started. I'm going to put both down. The next paper I want to bring in, do you see all those gorgeous colors? And do you see how that castle looks so, so good? And I love this kind of smoky kind of texture that I have at the back. It's not a texture, it's a print, but I really like the way that that plays up. So I think that I am going to cut this paper at 5.5. So I'm going to have a 5.5. And then this piece that's hiding behind now is going to move over to this side. This sheet here is going to be in the middle of my layout, but not quite here. I want to frame out my photos, my 3x3s. I'm going to bring these back. And I'm going to push this over. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go like this, 3 1/4. And then this is going to go on the other side. And I am hiding some of this really pretty print, but I think I'm okay with that. So if I go 1, 2, 3, I just want to show you before I cut into it. I'm going to have my photos that are going to be here on the side. I'm going to bring in my first focal photo, which is right here. Do you see how this plays up? And this is why I wanted big borders around my photos. I'm going to add my other photo here on the other side, which all of this pink is really playing up on the castle because it's at night. And then we're going to bring in this really cool paper. So this is where I'm going to extend some of this. Now it's not exactly the same shade, but I really do think I can get away with it. And I really, really like that we're bringing a little bit of bling to this layout because definitely it gives that magical feel. When you look at this layout now and you see that it's been split across the 2 pages, I really do like the little confetti-like celebration that it brings to this page. Now, I want to bring in some of that blue because there's not enough of a break between these 2 patterns. So I'm going to cut just a little strip, 1/2 inch probably, and I think that that's going to look really good. On this side, let me see if I have another piece. I have another piece right here. So on this side, I'm going to repeat the really nice metallic paper. And you see how it now lines up with the detail in the original print. And I'm going to bring another little strip of the blue. So this is shaping up really nicely, and it took me a little bit to get here. When you look at the print on its own, it's gorgeous, but sometimes it can take away from your photos. So by cutting it and separating it across to the other page, I really do feel that it complements the photos and it gives your eyes a little place to rest from all of this really cool pattern, but it can also be distracting. I'm back with my foundation pages, and I love the way that this looks. Do you see, by simply cutting and spreading this really busy print across my double page layout, it's intentional, and I think that it's really going to highlight all of my photos. I'm going to add the star on this side, which is the castle, of course, and then the star on this side, which is Janice and I. And I'm just going to start adding my supporting photos. Now this one here does go over this really nice foil, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to add my little supporting photos all along the edges. So this is kind of like a grid style if you want. The grid is separated by not one, but by two hero photos if you want, and it's okay to have larger photos. And just zoom in on these ones here, the supporting photos. Even though they're only 3 by 3, I've got exactly what I was looking for, because I miss these. I completely miss them in our shared album, and I'm really glad that Janice shared her photos with me yesterday. I'm really glad that Janice and I can still communicate. I tend to get up early and Janice tends to stay up late. So we always kind of communicate with each other either at the beginning of the day or the end. And when she shared her layout with me, I thought, oh wow, look at those photos. Do we have those photos in our shared album? And we sure did. I just didn't realize how good they looked when they were cropped properly. So remember that sometimes there's a lot of people in your shots, especially when you go to Disney, but by cropping them out and really focusing, even if it's a far away shot, I think that most of our cameras now are really good at taking pictures, and you can crop in quite a bit. Now let me bring in my title, and this would probably be a good time if you're doing a Disney album to kind of look at your titles, because you will tend to always repeat magical or magic, or you will tend to want to scrapbook or title your pages in that way. For this page, when I was trying to brainstorm and get ideas for the title, I think that I had a magical evening, and I thought, you know what, I think I've used that already. I'm going to have to take inventory of all of my titles and, try not to repeat it too much. So this is why this is going to be an enchanted evening, and I think that it's quite fitting with the castle. And again, do you see that? This is a happy accident, but when I saw that I had this on my print, I wanted my title to come from it. So this is done on my Cricut. I will list the fonts that I use down in the description box below. And I'm going to bring in a couple of Mickey ears because I do want to keep some continuity in the layouts that I'm doing for this album by using the same fonts and by adding some really well-placed little Mickey ears. These ones here are not black, they're done in blue, but I think that that's going to look really good. And I thought I'd sneak one underneath my photo. I think that that looks good. It's probably hard to see right now, but I'll bring that nice and close so you can see it. Again, these are not meant to steal the show. They're just meant to accentuate what's going on. So I think that I can add the really big ones right here. And I'll add another one up here. So I've got my 3 points of interest. And I really like the way my layout is shaping up. I'm going to glue everything down. We're going to add a few blings, not too much. So this again is from my collection. These are Sugar Plum, and I found that they matched this really nicely. It wasn't standing out too much. It's just a nice soft pink that I can add here around my title and around my Mickey ears. For the journaling on this page, if these are all the photos you have and you don't have anything else to add, you could definitely bump this up and add it right here at the bottom. Like I would just do like white little strips. For my layout, I know that I'm going to have 2 flip-flaps of these really fun photos, and I'm going to document the story right here at the back. Let me adhere everything down and we'll take a closer look at the finished layout. Let's take a look at this layout and all of the beautiful details. And you know what? I didn't really think I was going to scrapbook so much pink and purple for this album, but the photos are dictating the direction I'm taking. And look at all the shimmer and shine from the metallic papers that are complementing this really cool print. I love how this turned out. I love all of my photos, and I have to say, Janice, thank you so much for sharing your layout with me yesterday, because I think I would have missed on these 2 photos right here. Don't forget, this is a video collaboration, and I will be listing Janice's video down below so you can see her enchanted evening at the same park done in her own way. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've picked up a few helpful tips. And again, thank you for spending some of your crafty time with me. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. If you're documenting your Disney stories, I think you're going to like this playlist right here. I'll see you there.